Hello, everybody. I'm Sue Ellar, and I am here today with Sarah Grace, who's partway through my 90-day health transformation class. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my absolute pleasure, Sue. I wanted to come on and share my experiences of your coaching and the program, and share my wins with people to encourage them to jump on, come and do this.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited about this because you and I have known each other a little while, haven't we?
We have.
And it turns out that actually we were on the same program, doing a program like this 2.5 years ago.
We were, and we didn't know each other in that thousands of faces.
And we'll come to that at the end, actually, about reflections on that first time round and the difference between doing that with me now. But let's jump straight in then, my lovely. What I'd love to know is, before you took this challenge in the recent years, how have you been feeling about your health, your energy, your nutrition, and how has that been affecting your life?
Right. Well, I am now in my 50s, and I realized that weight was gradually creeping on, and I was drinking more alcohol than I wanted to drink. I live in Spain. It's really cultural. And for me, alcohol's tied to a lot of celebration and having fun. So I was drinking, and because of I've got it's a bit of a crutch, to be honest. So I'd found that was creeping in more than I wanted it to. But that gives me headaches. So I was waking up with headaches every morning and just feeling sluggish. My weight around my belly was more than I wanted it to be. And I just knew I could feel better, and I really didn't know where to go for help because it was all so confusing. I didn't know whether to go to a menopause coach or to I didn't want to do a diet because in my past life as a youngster, I've had bulimia. So restrictive diets just don't work for me because it can still trigger some of that old trauma. So having something like this has been amazing.
Oh, it's great to hear you saying that. And yeah, so many of us have been traumatized by dieting in the past, haven't we?
Yeah.
Or bordering on starvation sometimes. And of course, what that ends up doing, apart from the lack of nourishment that we're getting because we're depriving ourselves of good food, very often it ends up leading to eating disorders. So, you've been through that, have you?
Yeah. I had severe bulimia for a long time. Yeah.
God, I can't imagine what you went through there, but it's so common, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. And especially when you've had childhood trauma, it tends to be linked to, especially sexual trauma, it gets linked to that. Yeah.
And then there's all the pressure on us to conform to a certain way that we look, a certain body shape, certain body size.
Yeah.
And it's just mounting pressure. And of course, what youngsters do is they focus on trying to lose weight at the expense of their health.
Yeah, because that's what we're fed. Pardon the pun, but we are, aren't we? Yeah.
So we're going to talk about a very different approach. But how long had you been feeling sluggish, and how long had you been feeling that some problems were creeping in?
Well, I would say it was for about 18 months before I joined your program. Yeah, about 18 months. It had been building up, accumulating that feeling of sluggishness, and the frustration really was that I just didn't know where to start. Even though I'd done a program similar to this a while ago, I'd kind of forgotten all of the principles. I hadn't got them embedded well enough to be able to, find a way myself.
I get it. And there's so many mixed messages out there, how we're supposed to be eating, different diet plans, different nutrition plans. A lot of the time you'll hear you've got to start with exercise. Did you explore anything else in between?
No, I tried it. I tried some intermittent fasting, which helped a little bit, but and I do still like intermittent fasting. And from recovery from a teenager, I've learned that I can just eat when I'm hungry. So that was a good habit that I'd got. But what I ate was healthy, but too much of it. I guess too much of it. Yeah. And for me, really, when I started, I wasn't massively overweight, but I just felt poorly, just didn't feel vibrant, didn't feel well.
And do you think the stage of life you're at had anything,
Oh,
any
definitely.
impact on that?
Definitely. When we hit the menopause, I think what can happen is that unresolved traumas from the past can come up and you go back to relying on your old coping mechanisms. And for me, that was alcohol. Yeah. But, not so much the sugar, because I got that from the alcohol. And, I could con myself that I was doing everything right. But there was this alcohol monster in the corner that, was being fed daily.
And it's a very fine line, isn't it? Because we think, well, I've got a healthy attitude, a healthy relationship with alcohol, much better than it was when I was younger.
Yes.
But it's a very fine line, isn't it, between using alcohol as a crutch and using it just as something that's really.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
So you recognise that. Well done to you, and you reached out to me.
Yeah.
What was the main thing that made you decide you wanted to do this program with me?
Because I had really good results last time I did the similar program to this, and I felt better. I felt vibrant. I lost weight, but I knew something was missing because I didn't have I think I was still using a lot of willpower. And I knew that was not the fault of the program. That was something in me that I'd kind of twisted it a little bit. And I hadn't, as I said, I hadn't embedded the principles. And I think towards the end of the program last time, I got married and it was Christmas all within a few days. And I just kind of thought, oh, I'm not doing this anymore, and didn't continue. So I didn't really learn how to integrate the principles in so that they're sustainable. And I know that that's what you do, and what you are doing.
I'm so glad you found me, because yes, as you now know, that is exactly what I do. It's about embedding these principles. And you mentioned willpower. The last thing we need is to rely on willpower, because I don't know if you're anything like me. I don't have willpower.
No.
It seems like people say, oh, willpower is just self-discipline. Yeah, I have discipline. I don't have willpower. It's very different for me.
Yeah. And I don't like being told what to do, Sue. Even when it's me telling me what to do. I'll fight against it. And I'll do the opposite. Even though I know it's detrimental to me, I'll do it because somebody told me not to.
It's kind of an internal rebellion, isn't it?
Yeah, you think I'd have grown out of it now, but I haven't.
No, I think it's a trait. I think it's a trait sometimes of the movers and shakers, is that, there's that rebellion in us.
Yeah. And what I've noticed, this time, which is really different, is that I've been traveling a lot lately during the part of the program that we really get into making some quite big changes. And I've been around the foods that really I didn't want to eat. And this time, instead of me looking at them and thinking, oh, just 5 more weeks to go or whatever, I was like, no, I really don't want them. I don't want them. It's been a very different experience. And I'm sure that's due to your coaching, because previously I've just been like I'm a all or nothing. So at the moment, I'm not having any of it. But once I'm done, I'll be back on it. Whereas this time, it was like, no, I really don't want it. And I managed to change the words in my head so that I wasn't saying I can't have that. It was, I'm choosing not to have that at the moment. And that made a massive difference.
That's what it's all about. I'm so glad that that's come up a lot for you, because I think that's the hardest thing that people find to understand about this program, because it's so different from a typical diet. Because on a typical diet, or whatever plan you're doing, it's you can't have this, you can't have that, you've got to swap this for the other. And yet this is different, isn't it? This is more, as you've said, I don't want to include that in my life. How does that feel different to you? What do you think it is that makes you not want to have the old stuff?
Because of the massive gains I'm having, because I'm feeling so much better, because I've lost a lot of weight, because I get up in the morning without headaches. And you encourage us to, in the early part of the program, to try to not change anything and to try just eating and drinking what we normally drink, but actually notice how that makes us feel. And I think that's something that most programs don't do. They just tell you what to do. And then if you actually give it a chance and you feel what your body feels like really consciously and mindfully, the next day, or, you know, the more long-term effects, then you really think, well, what am I doing to myself? I don't want to feel like this. And I think for a lot of us, we're just so busy all the time. We don't take time to reflect. And with your coaching, because there's a lot of it, with your coaching, it really helps you to reflect on what you're feeling like, and then you can make your own informed choices. Nobody's ever said you can't do that. And I know from your coaching, when ladies or gentlemen have actually said on the program, whoa, I blew it, I was naughty, you really reframe it for them. And it's just, well, that was a learning experience. And, you know, how would you do things differently? What started it? And you really help us explore what's going on in our heads and our bodies.
Oh, that's great, because that's absolutely the intention, is because I've always felt that if there's guilt, that's what keeps us stuck.
Yes.
Because I always think if you're feeling guilty, you're kind of not paying attention to what's really going on. You're not paying attention to the reasons why you're turning to that food. You're not really paying attention to whether you're enjoying it or not. And you're so busy beating yourself up that you're not paying attention to how it feels in the body.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I like to help people see beneath guilt and lose judgment, because it's just not helpful, because actually better than judgment is wisdom. So we try and get to the wisdom layers, and we can only do that if we remove guilt. So I always say on the first coaching call, before you come in, leave guilt at the door.
Yes, I remember you saying that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's kind of a process. Through the process, it's a process of learning to love your body, learning to love yourself, because so many of us have grown up with shame, not just guilt, but with shame as well. And there's a lot of body shaming going on, so that we feel bad about our bodies, and this teaches us to feel good about what we're putting in our body and how we feel. Yeah.
And what I'm seeing is, when people join this and they are feeling low on self-esteem, bad about their bodies, guilt, shame, they are also low in self-care and probably self-worth. And those things are so connected.
Aren't they? Yeah.
And what it seems is, although this isn't, this class isn't coaching in self-worth, what this class is helping people to put the right self-care in place. And, you know, and including nutrition and hydration and activities that nurture. And it seems to me that by putting those self-care activities and self-care steps in place, the self-worth and the self-love develops. Would you say that was?
Yeah, it's sort of a natural progression. You know, because so many of us are just undernourished when we, you know, overfed and undernourished, as you say, it's hard to look after yourself when you know, it's hard to do the right thing for your body when you haven't got the right nutrition in it, or you're dehydrated.
And you're low on energy, you're low on motivation. Yeah. So when would you say in the program you started feeling more energy, more vitality, more motivation? When did that start to happen?
3 weeks in, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, 3 weeks in. And now where are we? Are we 6 weeks in now? 6 weeks?
We're just after halfway through. So we are nearly 7.5 weeks through.
Yeah, so we're 7.5 weeks through. And I've noticed that, you know, I don't get the headaches in the morning. I've been away for 2 weeks and come back, and everybody said, "Oh my goodness, you look amazing! You look amazing!" And I've lost 5 kilos, and you know, I didn't have an awful lot to lose anyway, so that's quite amazing. And I'm really loving how I feel. I love how I feel. I was doing yoga this morning, and I thought, "Oh God, I feel really strong, really good." Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing! Well done. You know, you didn't have a lot of weight to release, but you know, the work that you've put into following our little mini challenges is really paying off. And it's not just about the weight loss, is it?
No. I mean, that's a secondary gain. But the real thing is how much healthier I feel, because, you know, I think as you get older, you kind of got to live with the fact that you're not going to look like you did when you were 20, and there's going to be some stuff sagging and everything's not going to be quite as neat as it was. So I think the weight for me, it's been a confidence booster, losing some weight, because it's nothing too horrible as feeling lumpy in your clothes. Whatever's, I'm not I'm a very body positive person, and what I do in my programs is all about helping empower women, and weights are really, really way down there, but it's how you feel inside. It's about how you feel, and overcoming challenges and sort of working out problems along the way, because when I was away, I had some quite interesting challenges to get round about, food and things. And knowing that you can do that is kind of it comes out into other parts of your life. If you can sort this, which you thought was unsortable, then what else can you do? And it's never too late. It's never too late to do it. I think a lot of us, as we get older, the weight kind of creeps on a bit, doesn't it? And very imperceptibly, but then we look at ourselves and think, oh, I'm really not feeling as good as I wanted to feel. But it's hard to know where to start. So I'd highly, highly, highly recommend doing your program, Sue.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that.
Enjoyed it. Imagine that, enjoying a health program.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I just want to ask you, because I think a lot of people know that this is about eating more naturally. People know that this is about increasing the good stuff and decreasing the bad stuff gradually, week by week. They know that. Often what puts people off is that they think they're going to be in the kitchen for hours following laborious recipes, spending ages peeling and chopping and cooking. And what would you say to them if they think that?
No, absolutely not. when I was away, I was staying in a hotel that was shut. So I had no facilities at all, just a bedroom and a kettle. And so the day before I went, I prepped 3 days food, and it took me 2 hours. It's for 3 days.
3 whole days.
Yeah, including the, chopping up all the vegetables for the alkalizers. So no, it doesn't take it. It does take a little bit of planning, but if you were going on an ordinary diet that was going to fail at the end of it, you'd have to plan. So and it actually makes life easier when you're planning and you know what you're going to have. It takes away some of that decision fatigue, so that you're able to just right, this week I'm going to have this and this. And yeah, for me, I've found it easier, and I haven't had to do a load of prep. And the recipes that you supply, they're pretty fast.
Yeah, because I don't really do recipes. I just do suggestions, meal suggestions and snack suggestions. Because I find, having the traits that I have, I don't really like following recipes, because you've got to print it out.
Yeah.
You've got to, where am I in the list? Got to get the weighing scales out or find a measuring spoon. And I find it's just all too much. But if actually those weights and measures don't even matter when you're making a soup, you just chuck it in, right?
Yeah, we had the mince and cabbage and lots of spices thing the other night, and my hubby, who's not on this at all, said that was absolutely delicious.
Finding new ways with spices and seasonings and herbs and the delicious things that are available to us to flavour our foods with that are more natural.
Yeah.
So really, looking ahead, sorry, go on.
I say I'm really looking forward to chatting with you again at the end of this, because I'm looking forward to it, because I think this second bit is the bit where I'm really gonna learn about how to incorporate this into ongoing life, because I don't want to stop feeling like I do now. It's brilliant.
And this second half of the program is where we really up our game, and a lot of people see dramatic weight release for those that need it and dramatic energy increase. So this part of the program can get particularly exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's great. It's absolutely great. There's nothing at all about it that I would say is a bit of a challenge. It's fantastic.
And what would you say about coming to the end of this challenge and your ongoing lifestyle? Are you kind of slightly anxious that you're going to have to eat healthily like a purist for the rest of your life?
No, because you've already made it clear that you have a support system in place for afterwards, because it's all very well doing these things, but you really do need the ongoing support. I'm a therapist as well and run coaching programs, and you just don't do the do's if you aren't being supported some way. So I know that we've got the confidence that you're not going anywhere, and that as we're moving along, I've learned so many different things this time. And to be honest, I actually love eating healthily. So as you know, and as long as there's times when there's a celebration and you want to do a little bit of a gourmet experience, as you call it, then that's lovely. Yeah.
Food experiment, a little treat day. So I always say to my clients, don't worry about what happens at the end, because you can live the life you want. Once you know how the different foods feel in your body, how great it feels when you're eating for health, then you can start to reintroduce some of the things that you'd like to bring back.
Yeah.
But in a much more conscious way, so that the food's not controlling you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It's been quite incredible that I haven't been tempted by the things that I was tempted with last time. It's just like they're everywhere, and I'm like, I just don't want to eat them. I'm amazed. I'm amazed, to be quite honest. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good to hear you saying that. So thank you so much. And I really look forward to having you on at the end of the program.
Yeah,
we'll find out how the rest of the journey's gone. But in the meantime, huge success to you. You're already smashing it, but I'm sure you're going to go on to really enjoy the rest of the program and get the most out of it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sue. And if anybody's listening thinking, oh, I don't know, just do it. Do it. Honestly. She's lovely.
Oh, thank you, darling. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.